Hello and welcome to Wizards on Fire, the show where students interview staff members while progressively eating hotter wings. Joining us is Miss Kendrot, our culinary and Spanish teacher. Shout out to Wing Shack for sponsoring today's video. There'll be a QR code right hand of the screen. Now, Miss Kendrot, I know you're not really a big spicy person. How are you feeling?
Terrified. This may possibly, in the history of my life, be the worst decision I have ever made. I can't think of a worse one.
Well, hopefully not. All right, so first up we have garlic palm.
Okay.
Sponsored by Wing Shack, of course.
Okay. I was promised ketchup.
Yeah.
That was good. You were right. That was good.
Good. So to go off, so I know you and your family are super big hunters, and I know that you've become a culinary teacher. Is there a game meat that you like to cook more now that you've been a culinary teacher?
I really enjoy elk and antelope. I grew up on deer, and I'm not a big fan of deer, but my husband and son have been very successful hunting elk, and I love that. And my husband and daughter got an antelope, and I quite enjoy the antelope as well. That's part of my favorite.
Nice. And what do you make?
We make everything from, my husband actually makes a really good elk steak with butter and garlic, so kind of very similar to this first sauce. Pan sears it with the steaks, and then we do, chili, just substitute it anywhere you do beef.
Okay, nice, yeah. All right, how's the first wing? Not bad,
that's
right?
Fine. That's
yeah,
fine.
That's good, okay.
That's okay.
All right, so next up is our mild sauce.
Yep, this is where it gets bad, because I'm a wuss. It's a little spicy. You're laughing at me.
Okay. As someone that has traveled the world, like Mexico and Europe, I want to know what was the most memorable experience, good or bad?
That's a great question. I think probably, actually, the first thing that came as the most memorable experience was actually not what I would call a pleasant experience, but it was very poignant. On my most recent trip, I went with my daughter and some of her friends, and we went to Dachau concentration camp. And I think that was probably the most emotional I ever had on a vacation, because you could just feel the immense sadness and the gravity of things that had happened there. And so it's something that I would recommend to everybody, and it's not going to be the highlight of your trip and the most fun, but just for reflection and understanding life experiences. It was very poignant.
Right.
And probably the most fun, I think, was when I also conquered one of my fears, kind of. I'm not a big fan of the ocean.
Okay.
Because of the creatures in it. And my daughter and I were sea kayaking off the Costa Brava in Barcelona, and there's jellyfish everywhere, and they promised me they were like baby snakes. So I got off the kayak for approximately 3 minutes. 2.5 of those might have been trying to get back in the kayak, because I became terrified of the jellyfish, and I was flopping all over trying desperately to get back in the kayak. And everybody else had a really great time, and it was really fun to watch everybody else enjoy it.
Yeah.
Same thing this summer. We went to Mexico, and my whole family and I swam with whale sharks out in the Caribbean.
Oh, cool.
And of course, they dumped me off, and I don't like a lot of things. Spice,
Yeah.
boats, take a speedboat out into the middle of the ocean, and then they find these giant whale sharks. And they're like, okay, they're coming. And they throw you off the boat, and this mouth the size of a school bus is coming at me, and everybody's like, that's the greatest experience ever. And I'm like, I'm done. I want back in the boat. And we got to go again, and they're like, do you want your second try? And I'm like, no, once was good. I'm enjoying watching everybody else enjoy it, but I would like to be in the boat.
That's awesome. Sounds like some good experiences.
Yeah, have you had any great travel experiences?
Ooh, I would say I really like going to Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's actually where I'm about to go tomorrow. Actually, I know. And I love deep sea fishing, so me and my dad go. We've gotten some pretty cool fish out there. But honestly, it's really just traveling back and forth for like family and stuff in Michigan. I know that's not fun, but
It's seen family. Road trips are always fun too.
Right. All right, you ready for this next sauce?
Probably not. Okay. Stall as long as possible.
Okay, this is hotter.
It is.
Does it live up to its name?
I thought it was supposed to be barbecue sauce.
Oh, that's the next one.
Oh, the barbecue sauce is hotter than this?
That's just what the rankings were.
What is it called?
Just barbecue.
Ooh.
Oh, this is just hotter.
Yeah, it's hot.
All right.
Okay.
So yesterday, when we were talking about kind of like some of the questions, you talked about walking with compassion. I'm kind of interested to see what that kind of like means to you.
So that was a really incredible opportunity I got. So for years, our family, oh my gosh, my mouth is still burning, has sponsored children through Compassion International. And I have volunteered at their different events. And the whole idea is they take children in impoverished nations and they provide a holistic approach to helping the child. So spiritual, educational, health, and wellness. And so we have 4 kids that we sponsor, and so we send letters to them and we get letters back, and it's a really incredible program. I was contacted by Compassion International because they wanted to start this walk series, and they were looking for a local walk chair, and I've been very actively involved volunteering. And at first glance I thought, oh my gosh, this is out of my league. Like I am not equipped for this.
Right.
But I feel like when you get called, you get equipped. And so I prayed about it, and I was in a life space to do it. And so I helped launch Walk with Compassion in Northern Colorado. And what that entailed was, the first one was held at Centerra, and then our subsequent one was at Windsor Lake. And it was an interactive walk where you got to walk through the life of a child who had been rescued from poverty with Compassion International. So you had a device that you would hear, and there was different stations, and they would have like jerry cans of water so you could see how heavy and what the child was carrying to get water for their home and everything.
Oh, wow.
The first year we did it, we raised $4,000, and what the money was for anything that went above and beyond the one-on-one sponsorship needs. So an emergency surgery, funds for the church they're at, things like that. The second year, we had immense growth. A local realtor partnered with us. I did on-air advertising for it, and we ended up raising about $18,000, which was amazing. And out of the 40 walks, they had 5 that had turned profit in 2 years. And so unfortunately, they revamped the program because not every market was experiencing that kind of growth. But it was still incredible because through that experience, I got to go to El Salvador and visit one of the child centers.
Oh, wow.
And that was probably another one of my most impactful life experiences, was getting to see these kids in action. And I was one of 100 or 2 of 100 people that went down there that spoke Spanish, and so it was really great. The kids I could interact with them, and it was so incredible.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
And so I have a big passion for helping kids. Like I know we just did a project in culinary, understanding how blessed we are here and what's happening around the world, and just understanding that. So
that was a fun project.
Which country did you have for that project?
I had Gaza.
Gaza, yeah, that was it. They're having some crazy food crises right there.
They are. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, are we doing this?
Yep. Ready for barbecue sauce?
I don't know, how much more can I stall? You know I can talk a lot, Jack.
The longer you stall, the colder the wings are gonna get.
Doesn't matter. Okay, that one's not bad. That one's not bad.
All right. All right, this question I'm excited about.
Uh-oh.
As a substance abuse counselor and anger management counselor, I'm curious if there was ever a time when you had a close call when you thought something was about to go bad.
I did. I had a very interesting experience one time in one of my substance abuse groups in Greeley. I had some people that were probably gang affiliated. We're just gonna guess that they really liked certain colors. And they were in that group with a couple other people that were very chill. I had an older gentleman and a couple of younger kids. And I got a new group member who sat at my side right here. And I could see him making motions out of the side of my peripheral vision, but I couldn't tell what they were. And I saw my guys over here, and they just kept getting more and more agitated. And so finally I just called it out and I'm like, what's going on? And they said, he's flashing signs at us. And so we didn't have metal detectors. I'm in the last room in this place all by myself. And so I played my odds and I just stood him up and I'm like, pulled him out in the hall and I'm like, here's the deal, dude. You can leave quietly and I'll call your parole officer and we'll find a different place for you, or you can cause a scene and then you're just gonna get violated. And so he ended up, after some persuasive speech, deciding to just quietly leave and find a different place to be. But that was probably the closest call I ever had. I had some great stories though. One of my clients had a really rough life. He had children young, he had substance abuse issues, and by the time we were done, he had worked with me and gotten his GED, and the trajectory of life, his family had totally changed. And so that was just awesome. It was tough and rewarding all at the same time.
Right, yeah.
So statistics say that only about a third of people that go through will actually recover. I had to go in. I didn't go into my group sitting there and being like, okay, I've used 12 guys who are gonna be my success stories. I assumed they were all gonna be the success story until I was proven otherwise, so.
I mean, that's a good way to looking at it, right?
Yeah.
To have faith in everyone.
Yep. So, okay, let's do this.
Okay, ready? All right.
Hot or cold, it doesn't matter to me because this one says habanero. I already don't even want to eat this.
It's a strawberry habanero. I'm very excited.
Because that makes it better?
Yeah.
Because it's strawberry flavored? That actually makes this sound so much worse. This violates my food rules. Sweet food stay on one side of the table, the salty one. Okay.
It's very good. Ooh. Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's got a little kick to it.
It's not, oh. 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 Oh, that was sneaky. That was mean. That was rude. It started out good and now my throat is burning. Oh, this is so bad. Why did I do this? Seriously, worst decision of my entire life, and I've made some dumb decisions. Okay.
Okay. So, I went through your Facebook and I found a few photos that I'd like to talk about. I'm gonna throw them up on the screen.
Oh no.
And there was a few times that there's one with you on the field of Broncos Stadium, and then there was one with you at the Mayan pyramids. I want to know if you could explain those photos.
Okay, so the Mayan pyramids is awesome. That is a really cool story. So I had never seen the ocean. I had never traveled very much. I'd been to Disney World once as a kid, otherwise like you, it was road trips.
Right.
And so we got married and my husband and I didn't have a whole bunch of money. And so we had booked a little 2-night honeymoon in Estes. It's still burning. This is so bad. And that's what we were gonna do. And then for our wedding, his mom and her brother surprised us with a trip to Mexico. And I was a Spanish major and I was just so excited. And so we went down and I saw the ocean for the first time on our honeymoon. And we went to this resort, Rio Palace Riviera Maya. So we took our kids last summer when I was talking about the whale watching to the same resort and did a lot of the same things. And so I've been to Chichen Itza twice. But that most recent picture was incredible because we got the last tour of the day and there was hardly anybody there.
Oh, wow.
But the first time we were there was right after our wedding, which happens to be near the fall equinox. And a magical thing happens at Chichen Itza on the fall equinox. The sun hits it right, and this serpent comes down the stairs, and it's beautiful. In true fashion of my life and weather events, it was cloudy all day. This was before like digital cameras and stuff. There was people from National Geographic there with cameras ready to video this. And it was cloudy, and we got to see no snake. So yeah, me and weather don't get along. My wedding, I think we had for like 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts outside in a field.
Wow.
It was good, it was memorable. Hey, but we're still married, so it's fine. I don't want to do this next one.
Well, I'm curious about the Broncos Stadium.
Oh, the Broncos Stadium? Okay, so I've been to the Broncos Stadium a few times. We're season ticket holders. I love football. We've had some family pictures taken in the Broncos Stadium. But the Broncos used to do this thing called Broncos Ladies Night, and me and one of my good friends would go, and we got to met Aqib Talib, I met a bunch of different Broncos. I'm surprised you didn't find there's a funny picture of me getting picked up by David Bruton at one of the events. Like, it was just a really good time. And then it got really popular and they stopped doing it as much, but it was fun. I got to catch a punt on the field from one of their punt machines. Also felt like a good idea at the time, kind of like this, until I caught it and I had a low-cut shirt on and it smacked my chest and I'm like, that hurt really bad. That was stupid. So, yeah.
All right, this is the bear. This is gonna be hot. I had some before this, and
oh, good. This other one like has a freaking warning label on it. Oh no.
Yeah. All right.
It hasn't hit yet. Oh, 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 oh.
So having taught Spanish and culinary, and also you've also subbed for a long time, is there a class or a subject that you love to teach, or maybe even a grade level?
Why do people eat this? What does people voluntarily pay to eat this? No offense, Wing Shack, the first ones were good. I don't know what's happening now. Oh, give me a minute. So I really, before 4 years ago, I would have told you high school terrified me. I was not down for high school. Loved preschool. They were my favorite, even though, you know, bodily fluids are involved a lot in preschool. I loved preschool. If I taught elementary school, I think third grade is the sweet spot there because they're in school long enough to really be ready to learn, but they haven't developed an attitude yet. It's just getting worse. Okay. But I ended up at Windsor High School. I think it was just the path my life was meant to take because I'd been subbing in the district for a really long time. And I got a call right before school started 4 years ago. My tongue. School started 4 years ago and they said, hey, you're our only recorded district sub that speaks Spanish and we have a long-term position at the high school. We have a substitute for it, but she doesn't speak Spanish. And I'm like, what's this sub gonna do a Spanish class? And I knew my daughter was incoming to Windsor High School and she was gonna take Spanish. And I'm like, well, that just seems like a disservice. So I decided kind of like this, I can do anything for like 3 months. So I took the Spanish position here as a long-term sub and I loved it. And that progressed into a semester of Earth and Space Science in the spring. And then it just led to a long-term teaching position. And I really love you high school students because my teaching philosophy is none of you may never become fluent in Spanish. I might not make you into Epicurean geniuses, but if I can teach you some life skills and help mold you into good adult humans, that's my goal, right? Like, yes, I want to teach to the state standards and teach you what I'm supposed to teach, but my other mission is always just to help you guys be great people and help you grow.
Yes, that's great. All right. Oh man, I don't want to do this last one either. All right, this is the bomb. This is a super famous one. Died on it last time I did this.
And you're doing it again? Again. You and I both need our heads examined. Cheers.
Cheers. Let's get it.
I don't want to get it. Oh gosh, I got all of it. What am I thinking? Oh, it's not even waiting to be mean. Oh my gosh, where's the water? Oh. This isn't even funny, Jack. I don't know why you hate me. Oh my gosh. I'm never gonna be the same.
That burns.
Oh. Why are we doing? Why did I swallow that? I should have spit that out. How did you get me to do this again?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what else.
How long is my mouth gonna feel like this?
A bit.
A bit? That's so comforting.
All right.
Don't worry about this.
Lastly, looking at your resume, you worked at Zales for 13 years.
Uh-huh.
What lessons did you take from that job that helped you later in your career?
I don't even know. Oh. Oh my gosh. I can't even see straight. Oh my good Lord. What did I learn at sales? I'm GIA Diamond certified. I sold a lot of diamonds. Oh my gosh, I'm crying. There's a couple years in a row where I was the top 1 carat seller in the state. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. I'm not touching my eyes, it's just running on my face. What did you learn in culinary class, Jack? You need to say some words.
Well, I learned a lot about cooking. I learned a lot about how to prep a lot of the foods, different methods of how to cook. I don't know, it feels like every time I talk here it gets worse.
You need some of this?
No.
Okay, I don't know if this is helping. This might be making it worse. Oh, that made this thing worse. Somebody lied to me. Becca lied to me. She said that would help. It's making it burn bad.
All right, well.
What is this doing to my stomach, Jack?
Well, Ms. Kendrot, you have completed the wings of Satan. Congratulations to you and me. Brian, is there anything going on in your life that you'd like to share to the audience?
Kind of excited. I interviewed this week and just got chosen to be the student council lead for next year. So I'm super excited to help develop our future leaders and teach them to be nicer than this, because oh my gosh. How do we make it stop?
All right, well, thank you for joining us on the Wizards on Fire. My name is Jack, this was Miss Kendrot, and I'll see y'all later.
You had lots
I hit
to
flow
say.
state, I was just talking.
I know, you were doing well.